You were right. I never should have trusted Betrayus. He never even had my parents, and I led him right to the repository. I really messed up.
Everybody makes mistakes, dude. You thought he had your parents. What could you do?
The important thing now is to find a way to fix this. We have to get to the Netherworld and find Betrayus before he finds a way to open the repository.
We?
Of course! We're not going to let you do this alone. Let's get going!
That was an incredibly deep and moving conversation they had just there. So yeah, Pac is instantly forgiven for almost getting everybody in Pac World killed. I mean, yeah, everybody makes mistakes, but you knew it was wrong when you did it, right, Pac? I mean, I don't think you can use ignorance or best intentions as an excuse this time. You pretty much just straight up said screw everybody. There's nothing interesting to say about this Pac-Cini section. It's just like the last one, except there are more hazards. And you would think that would make it harder, but I actually find it much easier. This game has far more Pac-Cini sections than it has flying sections. That might seem a little weird, but honestly the Pac-Cini sections have a lot more to them.
That was one wild ride!
Oh no, the frame rate. I thought we fixed you. This is a new enemy type. It sucks eyeballs out of Pac and spawns new ghosts. The ghosts do count for extra points, but the machine can only spawn so many before it breaks down. I like this final world, but I think it's a lot less creative and fun than the previous one. I get they were trying to do the whole big finale thing. I mean, the music certainly reflects that okay. I'm sticking around this, I don't know what you want to call this ghost spawning machine, because this particular one has a glitch. After it can no longer spawn any more ghosts, it's supposed to explode. But this one tries to suck up eyeballs and then just doesn't spawn ghosts with them. So rather weird glitch. Hey, look, it's that thing I keep saying is never going to come back, but it's come back twice now. It's a really neat piece of design. I'm glad they used it 3 times. In the original Ghostly Adventures game, the ice ghosts seem a lot more aggressive. They kind of just stand around here. But then again, fighting enemies in this game is a lot easier in general. Though the ice ghosts do unfreeze faster, I'll give them that. The 5th world is kind of a gallery of, here's every piece of design you've seen so far. They do still find ways to switch it up, like combining these fire switches with the flipping platforms. You're not going to find anything terribly new or interesting, though. Just different takes on things we've already seen. The ghost spawning machines can make maximizing your points more difficult, but also a lot easier. No matter where you are, they will hit you with that beam, but after they hit you with it, they spawn more ghosts for you to get points from. Unfortunately, I forgot there were ice ghosts flying around. Still got plenty of points, though. The beam that the spawning machine shoots doesn't actually hurt you. It just makes you stop what you're doing for a second or so. Which is only really bad if you have a point multiplier active. World 5 is very lax about hiding its collectibles. For example, there's a really neat fire glide challenge right here, similar to the one we saw in an actual challenge area. But they just decided to put all 3 collectibles in this pathway. Again, there is no delay on Pac's fire glide. You can turn around instantly, so it's all about reflexes. We did miss some ghosts that we could have gotten if we went the other path, but we would have missed the collectibles that way. It can be hard to get the high score on this stage if you don't make the most out of that area back there with the spawning machine we saw just a minute ago. Really nothing particularly spectacular about this stage, but it did introduce that new enemy. I like this level a lot more. It makes pretty good use of Chameleon Pac's abilities. Like this area right here. You have to be careful not to move too much after the grapple points fling you. But yeah, this game, this stage re-explores all of Chameleon Pac's platforming abilities. He doesn't have a lot of them or anything. But it doesn't stick around long enough to feel like a retread, really. It also has that slightly open feeling that another Chameleon Pack stage had. Space Dock Swing, I think. In this opening area, there's three optional spots you can visit, 2 of which have collectibles, 1 of which just had that Slimetanium. I do like that up here they have the green ghosts lobbing slime at you because their slime bounces. It's really good use of their abilities. Oftentimes the green ghosts are on level with you, so the fact that their slime arcs doesn't mean anything, but this was an exception. The first time I played this level, I freaked out because I thought I had missed a collectible, but it actually turns out that oh dear. It actually turns out that what appears to be the way forward is in fact another extra area. Right over here. There's really nothing interesting that can be said about Chameleon Pac's basic platforming abilities anymore. I do like that right here they make you switch between both kinds of grapple points, and at the end you have to bite onto ghosts. But you have plenty of time to react to that, so it's not hard or anything. It's been said before, but I'll say it again, while Chameleon Pac's combat abilities are not as good as a scare, they're a decent substitute. You get quite a bit of points from just eating ghosts with Pac's tongue. For some reason, while playing the 5th world, I seem to have a compulsion to pick up extra things I don't really need. Like, I know there's nothing in these bushes. Or in those containers, but for some reason I wanted to get them anyway.
Hi, silly. Pac, we've got to get to the repository. Betrayus.
Do you get it? It's funny because both their names have butt in it. So we're playing as Granite Pack, and since the theme of this world is re-exploring design, we're going to be seeing crumbling platforms, tilting platforms, and of course slopes and bowl-like structures. I understand they wanted to fit every power-up and its design into the final world, but I feel like this refresher could have come a bit later, since we just played as Granite Pack a whole lot in the last world. I will say that I like the Underworld style of bumper, though. Looks a lot prettier than the ones we saw in the prehistoric world. This area does introduce a kind of new hazard for Granite Pack to deal with. There are little pits all over the place as opposed to the big pits you find during platforming. And since a big part of the challenge of Granite Pack is controlling his momentum, all these little pits all over the place make a lot of sense. It's pretty good design, really. I don't recall the pits showing up all that much, but we have already seen a lot of Granite Pack. Maybe next the developers can work on some kind of Marble Madness or Monkey Ball kind of game. I don't think so though, because Vicious Cycle Software mostly works with licensed games. The developer of this game is technically Monkey Bar Games, but they're a division of Vicious Cycle Software, and they do not seem to exist independently at all, so I'm just going to mention the two together. As I said, I don't know why, but I was really obsessed with collecting things that didn't need collected. The way we have to move forward is a little bit unorthodox for these kinds of sections. We have to make a pretty big leap. Usually the game doesn't ask you to do that with Granite Pack. The final world has two flying sections, and both of them have pretty good music, but Silly really gets the short end of the stick design-wise. Maybe that's not fair to say, she just doesn't get to finish off the boss fight. The Netherworld's flying sections have noticeably more hazards than the others, and a lot of the hazards come in pretty neat forms, such as these plumes. These giant plumes of lava. Also, there's a sweet guitar riff. Unfortunately, aside from the increased amount of hazards and a boss fight that we've yet to see, there's not much new here. I will say that whatever that red and black hexagon thing is looks pretty rad, though. And here's the boss fight. The sad thing is that it doesn't matter how much damage we deal to the dragon. Even though it flashes red, it's invulnerable right now. It simply flies away after we get rid of all the ghosts. That doesn't mean we should try and fly right into it, though. I do like all the pipes and the weird... The environment looks pretty, is what I'm trying to say. They made a really good style. I also think the over-the-top rock music is really appropriate for this setting. I wish they would have used it a bit more. The way it switches between fast-paced electronic and these guitar riffs make me think of, like, a bullet hell game. I would just let you listen to that, but there is one more piece of design up here. I said the game throws some environmental hazards our way that are integrated very well. And after we turn a corner, very slow corner, the game starts hurling fireballs at us, like straight out of Mario. Those are probably the most difficult hazards to evade, period. So that was it for, like, maybe the first third of World 5. And I don't usually mention things like this, but I have a cold or something, and it's doing weird stuff to my brain. So if my commentary was a bit off, I apologize. But I'm not going to stop recording. That's just crazy.